Hold on, let me get the light for a second. That's better. Okay. Yeah, look pretty. Yeah, this is way better. Okay. Hello, I'm KJW, aka Cherry Chocolate, aka Carrie Wilson, the editor, and yeah, this is a little late. A little, okay, a little more than a little, a lot. It's just it. I recorded this a week ago, about a week ago. This not this specific vlog, another vlog a week ago, but I made a mistake. I did it on my phone, and it recorded it in 4 parts, but it only saved one of those parts. So I just basically spent an hour talking about the movie to myself. And I didn't have time to re-record it because I am in college and I had a lot of work I needed to do. That's why I actually got up early in the morning so that I could do this. Just like I'm getting early up in the morning now so that I can do this one, because I've got a couple of other things I need to do for the next week. Y'all YouTubers in college, I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all do it. I am so glad I'm not doing this as a career, because just this week alone, it has been stressful. I took all day Friday just to recover from all the stuff I had to do. And today is right now, and I am going to be talking, I'm going to be doing this vlog because for the first time since I've started this channel, I'm talking about something that I honestly love. It's not something that I like the Kim Possible movie, or something I think is okay, like the SpongeBob movie, or something that I just really hate, like zombies. I'm going to be talking about something that I absolutely love. Not just the Steven Universe movie, but Steven Universe in general, but I'm mainly going to be focusing on the movie. Actually, to quote another black nerd, I'm going to give you the good, I'm going to give you the bad, I'm going to give you the nerdy. You know who that is. It's Andre Black Nerd Comedy. If you haven't checked him out, I highly recommend him. I might leave a link in the description below. He's really good. Anyways, yeah, I was first thinking of just doing what he usually does and just talk about all the good in the movie, but I would be here all day if I did, and then talk about the bad, and again, I would be here all day. But this analysis is just, it's going to be like a regular analysis, but because this is a particular movie, this is a musical, it's going to be a little hard to talk about it. If I talked about the songs, again, it would take up half of the movie, so any songs that I think are worth talking about, I might go into great detail. I'm going to go into great detail. That's also another reason why I have my phone. I've got the playlist on it. I didn't download it, trust me. I got them queued up on YouTube and YouTube Music. I do want to get the playlist because, oh my gosh, all the songs in this are good. But first, let's go ahead. Yeah, I'm just gonna go into it right now. Without further ado, these are my thoughts on the Steven Universe movie. Okay, so this movie starts off, I'm not gonna lie, kind of, I did not expect it to go that way. I mean, I knew it was gonna be a musical, I did not expect it to go that way. The standard kind of animated thing where they take a storybook and they open it up and they start singing about the story of Steven Universe so far. And it's good. The animation in that scene is not bad. The song is pretty good. It's of the 3 diamonds, white diamond, blue diamond, and yellow diamond, who are basically the rulers of Homeworld. An alien planet comprised of gems that, you know what, check out the song. It takes too long to explain. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, I'm kidding. They're basically aliens who try to colonize other worlds until they get to the planet of Earth, in which they give the 4th diamond, Pink Diamond, her colony to rule of Earth. They put her in charge of taking over everything. And she goes down there and she discovers that there's human life. And she also discovers that human life is important. That this planet is already colonized and they can't, they can't take it over because people are already here. So They just need to move on. But Pink can't get through to the other diamonds. They want her to keep going. Because honestly, to them, it sounds like she just doesn't want to do it. She tries to explain about human life, but they don't listen. So they don't listen to her as Pink Diamond, but instead she decides to become Rose Quartz. She changes her gem to look like a rose quartz become and basically becomes a rebel soldier. And she inspires her fellow gems to rebel against Pink Diamond herself. Yeah, I know that gets a little confusing, but she starts a war between Homeworld and the gems that want to protect the Earth, who are called the Crystal Gems. And the reason why the Crystal Gems want to protect the Earth is because basically the Earth is the only place where they're allowed to be themselves. Homeworld tells them who they are supposed to be, what they are supposed to do, but they can be whatever they want. Like Garnet, who wants to stay a fusion, or Pearl, who doesn't want to serve anybody. They talk about more in the show, but this is just basically in the song in general what they explain. And so after they win, thousands of years go by. Rose falls in love with a human after that. They have a son, and in order for the son to exist, Rose basically has to give up her form. And it's kind of like a mother who dies of childbirth in order to save the child. That's basically that's always how I've interpreted it. I don't know. Some other people have just been like, haven't accepted that. They've gone online saying Rose is just living inside of Steven. She's not really dead, or something like that. I don't know. Whatever a weird fan theory you see on Reddit is from like 5 years ago. It's complicated. I don't get it. Anyways, the point is, Steven now exists as Rose's son, and because he's Rose's son, he gains her powers over time. And with it, he reunites with the Diamonds, makes them see the error of their ways, and in 2 years, he brings peace across the galaxy. And so they're explaining the whole story to all of the galaxy, every single one of the worlds that Steven has helped fix. I'm sorry. And so it cuts to Steven. And so they cut to Steven because they think that he's going to stay with them on Homeworld as one of the Diamonds now. But Steven is like, as much as I loved basically fixing everything in the galaxy and establishing peace, I just want to get home and spend some quality time with my friends. My place is on Earth. And Diamonds are just like, White is like, cut the feed. And so the song ends, Steven explains that, and the Diamonds go immediately into another song called Let Us Adore You, which, I'm not gonna lie, I actually had a little fun with. That song was really, really hilarious. It's basically them being like 3 helicopter moms saying, just let us adore you. They realize that Steven is not Pink Diamond, that he is his own gem, but they want to get to know him more. They want to love him more. They really built a connection with Steven, and Steven's just like, okay, I need an adult. I am an adult. It's okay. It's not that bad, but it's still pretty creepy. They just keep saying, we've done everything. The song just basically goes, and then they just keep going and say, Steven, we've done everything that you've asked. Yellow is like, I've pulled back my forces and tried being nice to people. Blue is like, I haven't made anyone cry once with my powers. Yes, that's something she can do. And White Diamond is like, and I have been nicer to lesser forms, to lesser beings. And Steven's like, what did we talk about? And White just says, there's no such thing as lesser life forms. Exactly. This is a little cute moment. I don't know why I included it. honestly, there's something I gotta put in. This is only like the first. I've been talking about this for a long time, but it's only the first 2 minutes of the movie, and already it's charming enough for me. I'm really starting to love it. It's it's really it's really good. You've already got a hook for the first 2 minutes. So let's keep it. So it keeps going. Steven gets on the warp pad. He warps back to Earth. He goes to see Connie, which, if you saw my last video, you saw my expectations for the movie. I hate that I was right about this. They have a cute little Steven and Connie. Connie is basically Steven's best friend and also the romantic interest. And they have a cute little they have a couple of cute little moments in the beginning, but other than but she has to go to space camp, so she's out of like most of the movie and doesn't show up until maybe the last third, almost the beginning of the climax, almost at the start of the climax, the last 23 minutes of the film. They have so many great moments in the show. I wanted to have a couple more in this movie. I wanted to see more of them in this movie, but no, but no, Connie's just pushed aside again. And so after Connie leaves, Steven starts singing a song called Happily Ever After, where he and each of the crystal gems, Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, start thinking about how far they've come. Basically their origin story, which I also got to put out right now. One of the biggest concerns I did have for this movie was, if you are not a fan, this could feel like something that similar to what DC did for the Suicide Squad movie, where they say it's not for the critics, it's for the fans. We don't need to show you anything because it's not for you. It's for the fans. They understand it. They don't need to see it. So one of the things I was concerned with, can you watch this movie and not be completely lost if you're not a fan of Steven Universe, or if you haven't seen a single episode, or you don't understand what Steven Universe is? You can. It might be a little confusing at some points, but you can follow it pretty fine. If you don't believe me, just look at the Starduster at Blue Devil. He did so many reactions to this movie where at first he was confused and then he was starting to get it, and then his reactions just became hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, I really did enjoy watching what he thought of this movie. It was really at first he was confused at some parts, but he was able to get the gist of a lot of it. I stopped for a second. I'm sorry, I froze. I keep looking at the camera, but then I'm also looking at me right now. And it just looked like I froze right here for a second and then went over here. It was so weird. Anyways, so no, I don't believe that you have to be a fan of the show to watch the movie. It definitely helps, though. It definitely helps. So that's okay. So that's it. Steven explains how he finally came into not being in his mother's shadow and became his own gem. Pearl also talks about how she became her own gem in a way, and didn't keep rebelling because of Rose or because of Pink. She did it because of what she wanted. Garnet talks about how she had a new feeling and she felt good. Oh wait, no, I gotta do it right. Garnet talks about, I can't do it. I can't do it. Garnet is too cool. I can't do it. Okay. Garnet, her story is how she fought for basically love. Ruby and Sapphire, who are the two gems who make up Garnet, basically they're able to fuse their bodies into one great being. Ruby and Sapphire. Ruby is really tough, and Sapphire is able to see the future and diplomat. And one day, Sapphire was in danger, and she foresaw it, and she didn't think that there was anything Ruby could do. But Ruby basically changed destiny, protected Sapphire by grabbing her, and they started fusing together. And they felt the love that they had for each, and they started to feel some kind of love that they had for each other. And the more that they stayed fused, the more that they felt that love, and the more that they liked it, and the more that they wanted to be that. So, yeah, no, love. That's the reason why. So, yeah, no, love. That's the reason why Garnet is Garnet. I want you to remember that because we're going to get to something very important in a little bit. And then Amethyst, she felt, and then Amethyst's story is she felt lost. She had popped out after the whole war and thousands of years after the war had popped out. She was basically the new Crystal Gem before Steven. She popped out like after the war started and everything. She had no idea what was going on and she felt lost, but until she found the Crystal Gems, she started to become who she was and who she was always meant to be. And it's a part of this family. I'm sorry, it's just the songs are so good. It was so nice. And through this song, we get to see more of Beach City. We get to see a character called Lars and characters called Lars and the Off Colors, who are basically space pirates. And we don't get to see them again for a while. And then we see Little Homeworld and the B Team Crystal Gems of Peridot, Lapis, and Bismuth. I'm going to talk about them in a minute too. We do get to see a bit of Little Homeworld, and I actually like that. It's really nice. Nice, and it looks good, and I really hope that we get to see more of that in the show. It really did look interesting. Okay, so after the song... Okay. I might get it queued up. I don't think... No, that's not one of the songs I want to talk about, even though it's really good. We cut to Steven, Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl just chilling out on a hill. Steven's like, I wish everything could stay exactly like this and never change. I agreed. Steven's like, how's the future looking, Garnet? Do we all stay exactly the same? Garnet, I feel like I have to keep these on. Garnet just does this little thing that she does before she gets before she looks into her future vision. She just does this, and then she's like, no. And then it immediately cuts dark, where the clouds start forming around them, and a giant injector falls right down, almost on top of them. And a pink gem comes up and asks, "Are you Steven Universe?" Yes. And the gem's name is Spinel. Now, a lot of fan theories were going around saying that this was maybe a clone of Pink Diamond, or or another diamond, like Heart Diamond, maybe. But no, it's actually a Spinel, just upside down. It just looks like a heart. It just looks like a heart upside down. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked the theory of her being a clone, Pink Diamond, and Pink Diamond and her having to fight in order to see who is the better one. But then the more that I thought about it, the more I was like, isn't this kind of like the Spider-Man Clone Saga? And I don't like the Spider-Man Clone Saga. Thank you for not doing that, Rebecca Sugar. Thank you. Point being... Sorry, it's actually kind of early right now. I'm so tired. I stayed up a lot of the night because, again, I was recovering all day. And I had some laundry I had to do. I'm always having to do laundry with this. I don't know why, but I'm talking about Steven Universe. I have to do laundry. Anyways. Spinel comes, and she sees all of the gems. She names them off Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl. And she's basically not impressed. Pearl knows who she is instantly, but she doesn't know why she's there. And then she goes into a song of other friends. It's not... Oh, actually, I'm going to talk about Spinel's design for a second. I didn't get this before, but after a whole week of seeing other people's reactions, I will admit she's 1/3 of Jenny or XJ9 from My Life as a Teenage Robot with her hair. 1/3 Mr. Fantastic because she's able to stretch her body into different forms, and her fighting style, the animation on her is just beautiful. Anytime she has to fight or use her arms, it's just really impressive. And she's in a good chunk of the movie. I really enjoy that too. And one third Mrs. Incredible, one third Spring Arm Man, because she doesn't just use it to stretch; she uses it to spin her arms round to look like a spring, look like an arms character just punching with spines all over. She goes full out. They go full out with the animation. It just gets all wavy and wobbly and all over the place and shaking, and her fight scenes are just amazing. Zing, I really gotta appreciate when an animation is. I don't know much about animation, but when it's done beautifully, it is done amazing. I really enjoy that. It's just beautiful to look at her. You know, they only didn't give her an annoying personality. We're gonna get to that. So she starts to fight the crystal gems. They're losing. She pulls out a weapon. Out of her gem. It's basically a scythe with a big pink blade, and she slashes all three of the crystal gems, and their bodies just cut in half. The second that I saw that, I was like, oh man, there are some kids who are going to be traumatized, because this is the kind of standard thing in the show. When a gem basically, like, let's say, gets their body cut in half, they don't die. they don't die. Instead, their body becomes destroyed, and they return back to their gem, be it in their head or their hand or their chest. They turn back into their gem, and their gem spends most of the time reconstructing a new body. A body that they can make look however they want. They can make some changes, but for some reason they stick to just minor changes in the original design, even though they clearly state that they can make it look however they want. So there are some limitations, because if that's the case, Amethyst should be bigger. I'm just saying. But put that down. The point is, darn it. The point is that the crystal gems are basically out of commission, and it's only Steven left. She tries using the scythe on him, and it doesn't work. At least his human half stops him from poofing. So he grabs the scythe from her, and he's about to slash her, and she says, "It doesn't matter. Your human half won't survive my injector, that big ship that's put in the middle of the ground." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And she just starts laughing this evil laugh, and he just slashes her, and she poofs back, and so he takes the gems all the way, and so he tries to bubble her, but he can't do it. He tries again, he can't do it. For some reason, it's not working, so he grabs all the gems, he goes back home. His dad comes later, he's like, "Steven, what's going on?" "God, I don't know. Is that her?" "Yeah." "How did she?" "I don't know." "Are they?" "I don't know." "What's wrong with you?" "I don't know. She did something to me." "How? What happened?" And he shows her the scythe. He says, "She did something to me. My powers aren't working right." And so the gems start to reform back, starting with Pearl. And she says, who is this? Who is this?" And Greg just goes, Greg Universe." And Pearl says, "Why, thank you, Greg Universe. I am at your service." And Pearl looks like she first did when she first came out. Like, she looks like her original design. Like, not her original design, but the first time that we ever see Pearl before the rebellion. She looks like that Pearl. And I was just like, oh no. And then Ruby and Sapphire come out, and all of them are saying that they don't know who Steven is, or they don't remember him, and I was just like, no. And then Amethyst comes out, and I was just like, dang it, it's an amnesia story. I don't like these. I really don't like these. But I really don't like these because they are so predictable. You know exactly what's gonna happen, and it's gonna last throughout most of the movie. And I was thinking it's gonna last throughout most of the movie, trying to get the crystal gems to remember him, and it's not gonna work until maybe the last third. Thank God I was wrong, but still, it's just it hit me as an annoyance because I've seen that time and time and time again, and I get so bored of it. Okay, and so they're the four of them are basically acting like they don't remember him, and then Spinel pops out, and another Disney trope. I thought she looked like Minnie Mouse. I swear, she even acted like her. She was happy. She's happy all the time. She's got two. Her hair has turned into two little buns and a circle on her face. It looks like either Mickey or Minnie. She's got a cute little pink dress. She's laughing all the time, and she declares Steven her best friend. I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear how this happened. How did she go from Pink Diamond's best friend to I want to destroy you and everything you love? And it does get interesting. We'll see in a minute. So Steven's just like, what am I gonna do? So he takes the rejuvenator. Oh, I said okay. I said what it's called. He takes the scythe. You'll see in a minute. He takes the scythe and he's just like, I've got no friends to help me. Oh wait, Crystal Gem P Team. So he goes back to Little Homeworld to Lapis, Peridot, and Bismuth. He takes Ruby, Sapphire, and Spinel with him. Them Pearl and Amethyst. He leaves Pearl and Amethyst to stay with Greg, and Greg keeps an eye on them. At least he's supposed to. You'll see in a minute. He tells them all what happened. He shows them the injector. He shows them the it's called a rejuvenator. Bismuth sees it. She says it's called a rejuvenator. But before, Amethyst just Pearl just grabs it. And it's just like, Peridot grabs it. Peridot, come on. Peridot grabs it, and it's just like, what is this thing? Bismuth's like, careful with that. It's a rejuvenator. One slice with this, and you're back to how it was a device that the diamonds used to keep gems in line. One slice from this, and you're back to how they made you. And Peridot just says, oh my stars, I could have lost all my character development. Just the fact that she said that alone is hilarious. It's not just because I'm a fan of the show, it's because it's just, that's actually pretty funny writing, I'm not gonna lie. No observations here, that's just a funny joke to me. And so Steven shows them Spinel. Another funny moment is Steven just shows them Spinel, and they're like, what is she doing here? And he's like, she doesn't remember me. I hit her with it. You just said she tried to kill you. Yeah, but I just hit her with it. She doesn't remember me. And Peridot's like, wow, it took me months to try to get over killing Steve, to try to stop killing Steven. Bismuth's like, I'd say it took me a day and a half. And Lapis just goes, I'm still on the fence. Because oh, I'm sorry. That is actually pretty funny. Because they all in one way or another have tried to kill Steven, but he's always showed them a friendship, and in the end, they chose the side of good. Thank God, because they are super powerful. I'm actually kind of scared if they existed in the real world. Okay. Moving on. Steven says, what are we gonna do? And Bismuth... Oh, wait. Okay, this is one of the songs I want to... Darn it, it should be right here. Here it is.
Here we are in the future. Here we are in the future, and it's wrong of her. Happily
Here it comes.
ever after, there we were. When has it ever been easy? Hasn't it always been hard to be us? When you go against the grain, there's always somebody around you can't trust. That's why we've got to have each other. Why we'll figure this out, we must. Because are the crystal gems. And we never give up, no, we never give up on our friends. As long as one of us is standing to brandish the star, we'll find a way to save the day. That's who we are.
If they make that the new Crystal Gem theme, I will totally... If they make it the new Steven Universe theme, I will totally be okay with it. That song is so inspiring. It takes them singing a second verse in order for Steven to be convinced, but it's just so incredible to listen to. It's honestly one of my favorite songs in the movie. And I just really enjoy it. So during the song, Steven is just like, okay, so how can we fix this? And then Spinell gets the idea and says, well, what if it's basically like a puzzle? If we find all the right their memories can still be in there. The pieces are all there. If we can just put them all back together, then maybe they'll be whole again. Steven's like, that could work. So that's what they start to do. They first start with Garnet. Now the way that and again, like I said before, the way Garnet came to be with Ruby and Sapphire, they were in danger. Sapphire was in danger, and Ruby jumped in to defied fate, jumped in to save her. So they try to put Sapphire in danger. Peridot grabs like this big buzzsaw blade. He grabs, and Steven grabs it. He's about to go to Sapphire, and Ruby's like, "Don't you dare do it!" And so Sapphire says, "It's okay. I predict he will not be able to go through with it." And Steven's just like, "She's right, I can't." So Ruby just goes, "Wow, you really can't see the future. What else do you see?" And so Sapphire starts to blush, and she starts to explain so much that's happening. She predicts when the blade is going to go off without Steven doing anything. She predicts how they're not going to be able to fix it. She basically says everything bad that could possibly happen, all the slapstick that's going on between Steven, the Crystal Gem B team, and Spinell. They're all trying to get the blade back, and it's not working, and she just goes on protecting it. It's just so funny to see and hear. So they keep going, and so she finally predicts that the blade will cut off a piece, and Ruby, and a big chunk of the building is going to fall on top of Ruby, and Sapphire sees this, and she's like, "Oh my gosh," and Ruby's like, "It's okay. At least I got to be with you for a bit." And Sapphire comes and pushes Ruby out of the way, and they start to fuse, and then they sing another song, and then they sing a song and then Garnet starts to sing a song about love, which is okay, and I thought this is when the moment where Garnet would realize that because love is what brought her together, but no, she looks like she first did when they fused, and she still doesn't recognize, and Garnet doesn't recognize Steven, so Steven's like, okay, so there's something else that we're missing. But before they can figure it out, Greg comes to the little home world, says that he lost Amethyst, and he's just like, and Steven's like, "Oh my gosh, Dad! You had one job, Greg. You had one freaking job." And Pearl just keeps trying to serve Greg, and I really enjoy that, because the more that we see them together, the more uncomfortable he is, and it's just funny to see. I don't know why I'm laughing at it. Like, I guess it's just, when Greg goes uncomfortable, he goes completely uncomfortable, and you know how uncomfortable he could get. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. So then Steven takes Spinell with him, because he says, "Maybe you can stay here," and Spinell's like, "No!" And Steven's like, "Okay." That's the first instance where I'm starting to realize, wow, Spinell really wants to be with Steven. It's almost like she was oh, wait. I got a hint of it, but it's not full, like, completely unsubtle. It's subtle. It's not unsubtle. Like, it's I'm trying to think of a good example. Don't have enough time. Okay. Oh, I saw something on my shirt. Anyways, it's really subtle. They do that throughout the movie. It builds up more and more until finally we hear Spinell's backstory, which I'm gonna get to. Okay, so Steven So Steven and Spinell go off, try to find Amethyst. They find her at an art gallery where where a friend of hers painted her. And Steven says, "Okay, does this bring back any memories? Or how about singing and dancing with me? That's got to bring back something." And so he starts singing a song called "No Matter What." It's so nice and sweet. And throughout the song, they go and do the things that Amethyst loves to do. They go eat French fries. They go to an arcade where Amethyst just where they go to a skee ball place. And at first they play it regularly. But Steve's like, "No, wait, I'm with Amethyst." So he grabs all the balls, and Amethyst grabs all the balls because she's imitating what Steven is doing. And they go to the top of the skee ball and then just start throwing it in the 10,000 spot. In the highest spots on top of it. It's just so funny to see that again. And Amethyst just keeps going, and the tickets keep coming out. Spinell's grabbing them, and the guy who owns the arcade sees this. He's like, "Not again!" He runs off, trying to grab them. And so they go on the train. They go on the train that Steven and Amethyst always go on. Whenever they go to the kindergarten, they go to the kindergarten. They see where Amethyst first popped out. They go back to the They go back on the train. They go to the top of the hill. And so, after the song is over, Steven and Amethyst start to do their handshake. Starts to do a secret handshake that they do. Steven grabs Amethyst. He hugs her. Amethyst starts to reform back into her original. Right there. Amethyst. You probably can't see. You know what? Never mind. This was a bad idea. But she turns back into herself. They hug. Spinell hugs. Amethyst is like, "Whoa, what's going on?" It's okay. She doesn't remember either. She doesn't even remember that she put that. And they see the injector, and it's starting to form this pink sort of liquid. So they run all the way back. They meet up with the Crystal Gem B team. Peridot and Amethyst sort of have a little reunion. Because out of all the Crystal Gems, I think Peridot is closest with, she's closest with Amethyst. She is. So they just have a nice little moment for a second, and then Peridot explains what it is. It's a venom that's basically destroying the Earth, and they only have 41 hours until all organic life is destroyed. And that's when Steven realizes what Spinell meant, that she brought that his human half wouldn't survive her injector. She brought it basically to kill Steven. So Steven is thinking, what am I gonna do? Amethyst says, well, we just need, because they can't move this thing or it would explode. Or it would explode and spread the venom much faster. So the only one who can bring it back who can take it out of the ground is Spinell, but she can't do it because she doesn't even remember that she brought it. So Amethyst says, you just gotta do whatever you did for me you just gotta do whatever you did to me. And Steven's just like, that's different. I know you. I don't know anything about her except that she used to be Mom's and that Pearl would know more about her. So he realizes in order to get through to Spinell's memories, he has to fix Pearl. He has to get her memories back. So what's the best way to get somebody who used to rebel for 1,000-year-old war? Take her to a rock concert. So that's what they end up. One second. Okay, I thought I saw something. Okay. Take her to a rock concert of a band called Sadie Killer and the Suspects, and they sing a song called Disobedient. I wanna be disobedient, and it's still not working. And so Amethyst is up there playing the drums, and Amethyst says, maybe we need the person that really made her rebel, the reason why she rebelled in the first place. And so Steven's like, oh no, you mean Mom. So the thing is, Amethyst can shape shift into anything that she wants. and she shapeshifted into Rose before. The last time she did that, it kind of traumatized Greg. So they both look at Greg, and he's just like, if that's what it takes, just do it. So, because he's, at this point, I think he's a little fed up with Pearl being his servant. It's just so weird. So, Amethyst shapeshifts into Rose. She starts singing the song right to Pearl, and Pearl just, she is still so content at being Greg's servant. So Steven's like, there's one piece that we're missing. Mom left. And so basically Greg is mom. So what Steven decides to do is he grabs Greg and he says, here's what we're going to do. He whispers in Greg's ear and he's like, are you sure your powers are still kind of... And so they just... Steven's just like, it's okay. It's okay. I can handle it. So... It's okay, I can handle it. So they grab two guitars, they start doing a guitar solo, and then they come together and they fuse. And out pops Steg. At least that's what we're calling him on the internet. Oh man, I was expecting a fusion. I was expecting a new fusion, but I was not expecting him. This was an expectation that I had. Another expectation, Steven and Greg fusing. I don't know what I was expecting it to be, but I was not expecting it to be like Elvis. I just thought of Elvis the first time that I saw it. So I don't know. He had his hair up like Elvis and a ponytail in the back. He had 4 arms for some reason, even though when Steven and Connie fuse, they have 2, but he has 4. I'm not complaining. It's just, he looked like a real good rocker. And then he starts singing Independent together, another amazing song, and that snaps Pearl out of it. Pearl and Amethyst fuse. They form Opal, and Opal starts singing the song Independent together. She pulls out the bass that's in her. She pulls out a bass guitar that's in her Pearl. She starts strumming it. It's really amazing. And so Spinell is seeing all of this, and when she sees that Steven and Greg fuse... Sorry, 1 second. Hello? Hey. No, sir. Oh, okay. No, I gotta study for my Spanish test. I'm taking care of something here right now, and then I'm gonna go downstairs to the RA office and spend all day there. Alright. Love you. Bye. That was my dad. He was just checking on me. My sister's going to Homer to see her family. She invited me, but I can't because I'm taking care of this, and then I'm going downstairs because I got a Spanish test. Like I said, I got a Spanish test. You already heard that. Okay, let's keep... This is another great reason why I didn't do my phone. I don't get calls on this thing. Okay, so where was I? Independent together. They sing the song. They sing the song, and Spinell, that's where I was. Spinell. When Spinell sees that Steven and Greg are fusing, she's trying to find Steven, and she can't. And after it's over and Steven unfuses, she looks hurt, and I really like that. That, again, this is another one of the subtle moments that builds up more and more until we finally get to her backstory. Steven goes to Pearl, says, what can you tell me about Spinell? She says she used to be Pink Diamond's playmate, but I haven't seen her for nearly 6,000 years. They had a garden where they would spend hours and hours, sometimes even days. And so Steven goes, he finds Spinell at the warp at his house. He asks her if she remembers the garden. because she says that she's starting to feel, her feelings are starting to feel familiar. She's starting to feel hurt for some reason. Steven's like, that's good. I need you to remember. Do you remember the garden? And so she says yes, and she takes him there on the warp, and this garden, it looks completely desolate and destroyed, and we get another song. Spinel basically starts with, this is where she and I used to spend hours together. Playing, laughing. I would make her feel good. I could do that. I really loved it. And through a flashback, we see all the times that they had together. We see the times that they played together, and they look really happy. But then Spinel says Pink always wanted, more than anything, her own colony, and she got it. The Diamonds called her one day at the garden saying that she got it. But on the day that she was supposed to leave for Earth, I'm gonna let the song explain.
Here in the garden, let's play a game. I'll show you how it's done. Here in the garden, stand very still. This'll be so much fun. And then she smiled, that's what I'm after. The smile in her eyes, the sound of her laughter. Happy to listen, happy to play, happily watching her drift away. Happily waiting, all on my own, under the endless sky. Counting the seconds, standing alone, as thousands of years go by. Happily wondering, night after night, is this how it works? Am I doing it right? Happy to listen, happy to stay, happily watching her drift away. You keep on turning pages for people who don't care, people who don't care about you. And still it takes you ages to see that no one's there, see that no one's there, see that no one's there. Everyone's gone on without you. Finally something, finally news about how the story ends. She doesn't exist now, survived by her son and all of her brand new friends. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that cool? And isn't that cruel? And aren't I a fool to have happily listen, happy to stay, happily watching her drift, drift, drift away.
So, in case you missed it, basically, Pink Diamond made Spinel stand in the garden, alone, making her think that she was gonna come back. for 6,000 years, pretty much abandoning her there. No, 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 no! No! Are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me! If they were trying, you know what? I have defended a lot of things Pink Diamond has done. I've defended a lot of things she has done. Starting a rebellion with innocent gems, not telling her friends for thousands of years who she really was, making Pearl keep the secret for so long. I have defended so many of the things that she has done. Because we've always seen there are two sides to every story. And we have always seen her side and the Diamond side. And her side is the only side. Her actions were wrong, but the reason why she did what she did, I couldn't say I would do the same thing if I was in her exact situation. But this is like abandoning a toy that you had as a kid because you outgrew it. But Spinel's not a toy. She's a friend. She was designed to be Pink Diamond's friend. Her purpose is to be a friend. That's all she wants to be. That's all she's supposed to be. In this case, who she wants to be is who she actually is supposed to be. And she wants to be who she's supposed to be. She got joy out of giving laughter. It made her feel good to make Pink feel good. And how does Pink repay her? Pink was actually the only thing that made her feel like Pink. Because she had to be somebody else. The Diamonds told her she had to be authoritative, she had to be tough, she had to give up who she was. But when she was with Spinel, she actually enjoyed herself. She actually had a lot of fun. Spinel was the only one who made her feel like she didn't have to be somebody. She could just be herself. And how does she repay her? She abandons her for 6,000 years. She makes her sit in the garden for 6,000 years. And you know what? This actually reminded me of another character's backstory that I don't have time to get into. Her name is Starlight Glimmer from... I can't believe I'm like saying this. It's My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. There, I said it. Okay, I watched that. Yeah, I watch it. Yeah, I'll watch it. What are you gonna do? I'm talking about a cartoon show. Anyways, in her backstory, she had a similar thing where a friend who she enjoyed spending time with had to leave her, basically, in order to pursue something that they always wanted to do. The only difference is, both of them went on to do some bad things. Spinel tried to destroy the Earth. Starlight Glimmer tried to take over the world with mind control. It's really complicated. I don't have time to get into it. But basically, to make a long story short, they both felt abandoned. But where you could argue, but the difference is Starlight's wasn't as drastic as this. I mean, sure, she eventually did learn her lesson. She even got a chance to reunite with her friend, but Spinel will never get that. She'll never get a chance to reunite with her friend. She'll never get a chance to make it better because Pink is gone. And there were so many other things Pink could have done. She could have taken Spinel with her to Earth. She took Pearl. I don't see why she couldn't have taken Spinel. Did the Diamonds not allow her? I don't know. We never get to see it because we never see this from Pink Diamond's point of view. We only see it from Spinel. And Spinel's point of view, Pink Diamond is terrible. In fact, Steven goes on later and says, Spinel, you got your memories back. When she finally reforms back into her original form, we lose. we lose the mini Mickey Mouse costume and go back to the XJ9 hair, and Steven just says, I can't believe Mom did that to you. And then he thinks for a second, he's just like, actually, I can totally believe it. You're not the only one she hurt. And she's not! This is not the first time Pink Diamond has done something like this, but it's always been justified because it's been understandable of what she's done. I've defended a lot of things that she's done, but I cannot defend this. This is too horrible. It's not unforgivable, but it is way too horrible. And the only way I feel like Spinel will ever be able to get over it is if she just forgives her and tries to move on with her life. And Steven basically says the same thing. You can't keep living in the past. He says you deserve a better friend. And so they start to make up through another song. Okay, I'm sorry. I went on a bit of a rant for a while, but that really ticked me off the second that I saw that. I couldn't believe it. So, let's just get back. After they reconcile, Steven takes her back to Earth. He asks for one favor from her. He says, anything. So he asks her to take the injector out of the Earth. She does this by blowing into it. You know what? Actually, I'm going to talk about just one thing for a second. Her realizing she sees the transmission. The way that she sees the transmission, she sees the whole story of Pink Diamond and the Earth, and then Steven. That same day, the transmission came out that Steven did all across the galaxy. She sees it. This all happened in the span of maybe a few hours, because the amount of time that she got the injector, she got the rejuvenator, her gem reformed, and she was able to travel all the way to Earth just to get the injector into it. This all happened in the span of a few hours. This whole movie happens in like maybe a full day. So I don't even know why the 41 hours was so important, because it's still when they go back, it's still night. It's still that night of the rock concert. And they pull it up. At least that's what we're supposed to believe. Because they don't give us any other scenario. So that's basically all that happens. And it's okay. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but how did she get that thing? How did she do all this in the span of a few hours? There have been a couple of fan theories that maybe there were other gems like a gem called Jasper or a gem called Aquamarine. I guess we're just gonna have to wait till season 6 to figure out how she did it so fast. But other than that, yeah. Okay, I gotta hurry up because I need to wrap it up because I gotta get downstairs. So let me see what else. So after Spinel gets the injector out of the air, he says, "That's great, thank you, Spinel. Okay, now what we need to do is just get Garnet's memories back." And then Spinel's like, "Is that all you needed me for?" He says, "Well, yeah, but oh, what did you mean when you said we can just forget this ever happened?" Spinel is starting to read into it a little too much, and Steven is just like, "Well, no, I just mean," and then she comes closer to him, he falls down, the rejuvenator pops out of his pocket, and she's just like, "What are you doing with that?" He says, "I couldn't store it, I couldn't find a place to put it, I've just been carrying it. We can just forget this ever happened, huh? You just wanted me back to my original self." And he's like, no, and then Spinel just, this is understandable though, her feelings, her thoughts, because she's already been abandoned, she doesn't want it to happen again, and she feels like she can't trust anyone. So she brings the injector back down, she starts to fight Steven again, she grabs Garnet, and does kind of like a Batman under the red hood thing, like, if you want to stop me from killing your friend, if you want to stop me from killing somebody, you're gonna have to shoot me. She gives him the rejuvenator, and he has it, and he's just like, "I don't want to attack you. Really? Why not?" You want to attack me. Come on, come on. And he says, no. And she says, why not? And he says, because that's not the truth. And he breaks the rejuvenator. And the second that he says truth, Garnet starts to regain all her pieces and her memories. That's a little confusing for me because it's always been love for her. Love. I guess you could argue true kind of love because that song is amazing because she starts to sing it. Which, by the way, every time somebody in this movie, I just realized, every time somebody in this movie gets their pieces back together, they start to, they sing a song, they get a song. Every single one of them. I just realized, just a little observation that I just made. Anyways, so Garnet sings the song that everybody has been singing for a month now, True Kind of Love. I'm not even going to play it because you already know it. It's so good. It's so great. I realized I skipped something. Oh my gosh, I realized I skipped something. I'm going to get to it in a second. So, during the song, they all start to fight Spinel, all except for Steven, because the thing that I forgot to mention is that when Spinel hit Steven with the rejuvenator, his human half kept him from poofing, but his gem half stopped. His gem half basically restarted all the way back to when he was a kid. That's why he doesn't have his powers. That's why it's hard for him to be able to summon the shield. That's why it was hard for him to fuse. That's why he couldn't bubble. That's why he can't do a lot of things. I just realized I forgot to mention that in the beginning of my review. But I mentioned it now. We're good. Let's keep going. So Steven says, you guys gotta go help. Oh, also Connie comes back. Connie comes back with Lion from space camp, and her and the other crystal gems go to help the town because all of the pink venom is starting to flood into Beach City. So they all go to evacuate the town, while Steven goes up to confront Spinel for the last time. He climbs the injector, he sings his part of True Kind of Love. He gets all the way to the top, and he says, Spinel, we need to talk. And Spinel says, I don't want to play anymore. Steven just screams out, this isn't a game, and she clocks him right in the face, and she does it again, and he falls almost off the injector. He grabs it, he sees that he's bleeding from the nose, which, oh my gosh, there's actual blood in this movie. Oh, that's incredible. Steven has survived so much stuff and has barely gotten scratches on him. Now, and then he just gets a bloody nose. That's just, I don't know. In the show, we don't get to see something like that, but this movie, they finally give us something like that. Thank you. So Steven goes back up. Spinel grabs him with her arms. She says, I was ready to take my anger out on a bunch of strangers, but now that I really know you, I want to kill you even more. And she dangles him over the injector. She's about to drop him, and Steven's just like, I don't get it. Why aren't my powers coming back? I'm reliving every horrible thing that's ever happened to me. A gem I barely know is trying to kill me. I'm paying for something my mom did that had nothing to do with me. I'm struggling with my powers. The world's about to end. What piece could I be missing? This is the story of my life, and that is true. He basically describes every single bad thing. Well, not every single bad thing. Every big thing that ever happened to him to make him stronger. Everything can be summed up in those words. And Spinel, what does Spinel do when she realizes this? She laughs at him. She's like, you gotta be kidding me. How did a powerless loser like you become savior of the galaxy? And then he finally realizes it. Because he had the power to change. All those experiences, every bad thing that happened to him, he learned from them and he grew. All this happily ever after that he thought was over, he realizes it's never going to be over. I'm always going to have work to do. Dude, but as long as I have my friends, it'll be okay. And I can change. I have the power to change. And so he gets all of his powers back. And then we have a little bit of an epic battle with the song Change. And so Steven and Spinel fly up into the air. Steven says, we don't have to fight. You can make a change. And Spinel's just like, just can it, will you? She makes her arms super, super long. Like Ms. Marvel, that's another one. Ms. Marvel. And Big N, you can't make everything better by singing some stupid song. Punches him right. He smashes right into the ejector. But he has his shield to protect him. And Spinel now just goes on a rant and saying, you change for the better, I change for the worst, and just keeps going until she starts to cry. She starts to cry while laughing, saying, that's funny, right? I mean, you found me entertaining. This moment is actually pretty sad. You actually liked me, didn't you? And in the end, looking back, even though her character could have been annoying at first, as it started to grow more and more, I was really liking her. And I actually said, yes, I did. I know she wasn't talking to me, she was talking to Steven, but I felt that much of a connection with her. And then she finally looks at her hands and she's just like, what am I doing? She looks at herself. We see black lines on her face that indicate she's been crying really, really hard. It looks like it looks like mascara that's running, but I think it's just lines on her face that the tears made. At least that's what I think. But she's just like, I'm supposed. Why do I want to hurt you so bad? I'm supposed to be a friend. I just want to be a friend. Steven lowers his shield. He goes to try and comfort Spinel, but before he gets a chance, the injector blows up right underneath them. Steven grabs her at the last second. He puts them in a bubble. They're able to escape unharmed. Steven's like, well, that's one way to destroy your injector. And Spinel's like, but what about your happily ever after? And Steven looks at her and he says, there's no such thing as happily ever after. I'll always have more work to do. So, the crystal gems come. They see that Steven has his powers back. He uses his healing power. A lot of the planet is kind of destroyed, but he uses his healing powers to bring it back. Basically, he kisses the earth and plant life starts to regrow. So he does this for every patch of land all over the place. It's interesting. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Weird Spinel. He goes over to Spinel. And she says, you make me want to try to be a friend, but I've already messed up pretty bad with you. Looking around, I was like, yeah, she's kind of right. I just want to be able to start over. And as if on instant, the diamonds come back in their ship saying that they want to live on Earth with Steven. He's like, no! And then he says, wait, I can kill two birds with one stone. He grabs Spinel. He reintroduces them, and the diamonds recognize her instantly, and they're like, oh my gosh, one of Pink's lost treasures. If you knew that she was there, if you knew that she was Pink's, so how come, I don't know, one of you didn't go back or even tell Steven about Spinel? Do you know how much headache that could have saved? I mean, seriously, okay, I'm wrapping it up. Make a long story short, Spinel and the Diamonds agree to go back and live on Homeworld with each other in the palace. I'm a little concerned about this because it almost feels like Spinel is going to be the court jester instead of an equal. I mean, they could make her an equal. It all depends on what they do. She could reform back to what she originally was for Pink. And knowing the Diamonds, they're definitely going to make a mistake with her. At least I hope not, but she nearly destroyed the world because of one mistake, because of one friend. So we'll have to see in the future. Speaking of in the future, we get a reprise of that song. We get a reprise of Happily Ever After. We get to see Little Homeworld one last time, and that was Steven Universe the movie. Okay, so my final thoughts. I really did like this movie. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. If only for, I mean, the villain's backstory was really emotional and connecting. The characters were all amazing. Steven himself has definitely come a long way. The writing was hilarious. The animation, beautiful. The songs, catchy as heck, and I will definitely be singing them for weeks to come. if I had to pick my favorite, besides True Kind of Love, it would be a tie between Change. Wait, no, not Change. Well, okay, Change is definitely two. Tie probably between Drift Away and Who We Are. Those two songs are really, really inspiring. That's why I played. They're the only songs that I played. I thought I was going to play more, but I don't have enough time. I just hope I don't get demonetized for Change. For Drift Away, for what I did for Drift Away. Anyways, yeah, no, the songs, they fit in with the story. The songs fit in with the story. They're sung beautiful. They sound beautiful. Their lyrics are amazing. It's honestly, all in all, this is a really good movie. My only main problem are the nitpicks that I pointed out like Spinell being able to do all this in the span of a few hours. But my biggest problem is the way that Pink acted towards Spinell. It really bothered me way too much. But other than that, I really did enjoy this movie, and hopefully I'll be able to post it either today or tomorrow. I'll see. But until next time, I'm KJW, aka Cherry Chocolate, aka Carrie Wilson, the editor, and I'm gonna do this the same way. Hold on. That's it for this video. I love you like a play cousin. I'm outie by dotty, chain chomp yump. God willing, I'll see you in my next review. Later.